Good evening, my students. Today we will explain the grammar lesson relative clauses. What is the relative clause at the beginning? The relative clause is subordinate clauses that give more information about the person or thing mentioned in the main clause. So we have two clauses, two phrases, and there is a linking word between them which is called relative clause. It is also known as relative pronoun. The relative pronoun or the relative clause always comes after the noun. It describes and can function as the subject or the object of the clause. So, some of the relative clauses here I have who, which involving people, whom also involving people in a sentence, but you find it in the object, not the subject, which involving animals and objects, that involving people, animals and things. Whose denoting possessions means something belongs to someone, where denoting places, when denoting time, and why denoting reasons, and what denoting things. The relative clauses are sentences we use to give extra information which can be relevant or not. As we said, who for people, which for things, object and animals, that for people, things, object and animals, and where for places, when for time, and whose for possessions. Let's look at this one. These clauses provide important information which is needed to understand the sentence. So, the couple who lives next door have 3 dogs. So here I'm speaking about defining relative clause. The defining relative clause gives more important information, not more. It gives important information. When we use a defining relative clause, the reflexive pronoun may be the subject or the object. For example, I have a friend who speaks German, so he speaks German. Or the girl who you saw speaks Chinese, you saw her. So that can be omitted in this type of clauses. We normally use that as subject after words. Okay, don't pay attention to this part. The first part is that the important part is that the defining relative clause gives important information. Without it, I don't know the whole information about the sentence. The non-defining relative clause gives extra information. Like when I say, for example, the good earth which I'm reading is a good book. I can cross the which I'm reading and I can say the good earth is a good book. So it's non-defining. It gives extra, not important. Sorry. Ram, who helped us, seemed nice. I can cross who helped us and say Ram seemed nice. It gives sense. So it gives extra information, not important information. So I have examples of defining and non-defining relative clause. I saw the woman who visited you. He bought the bike which you like or that you like. I bought the magazine which was fantastic. Is that the book that I lent you or which I lent you? The film is about a man whose wife disappeared. London, where I went last week, is near here. Is that the town where you were born? I'll never forget the day when they arrived. My mother, who lived in Madrid, is 65 years old. Jane, who works in my office, is very nice. Maria, who is Spanish, speaks good English. John, whose son is an actor, is my friend. I'm going to Rome in June when the weather is warm. So these examples for the relative defining and non-defining. I have another examples here. Do you know the girl who started in grade 7 last week? So I'm speaking about a girl, so I put who, or I can put that. Can I have the pencil that I gave you this morning or which I gave you this morning? A notebook is a computer which can be carried around or that can be carried around. I won't eat in a restaurant whose cooks smoke. It's not speaking about the It's the cooks of it, means cooks here is not a verb. I want to live in a place where there is lots of to do. Yesterday was a day when everything went wrong. So these are examples of the relative. Another example for the defining clause. Sally is the girl who works in the sales department. So it gives here important information. This is the car which my brother bought 2 weeks ago. It gives important information. So that's why I call it defining relative clause. A drugstore is a shop where you can buy medicine. So it gives important information. So I have another example here. My sister, who was born overseas, likes to travel. The window, which is on the right, is open. This is George, whom you met at our house